Whoa, hey, this isn't too bad, huh? So here, we're gonna put the new brakes on. We have oatmeal, rice, dried fish, and eggs. The plan for today is chores. Every first of the month, I do an accounting. So I take all of our expenses and anything else that I have going back in the US, and I budget for this month, and then I document all the expenses for the month prior. I gotta do an oil change. We're gonna clean it up, and then either today or tomorrow, I'm gonna take the brakes apart and maybe for sure do some maintenance, and then maybe replace the brakes as well. We always have oatmeal and apples in the morning. Well, not Sheila, she has dried fish. But she does make me like an omelet with the onions or whatever veggies we have around here. We don't eat a lot of veggies just because it's not as accessible as a supermarket back in the US. So typically it's like onions and tomatoes, and then our neighbor Kuyanori, sometimes he'll hook us up with some eggplant. I don't know if you can hear off in the distance, but we have the familiar sound of a chainsaw running in the province. Very common here. Music to my ears. You get used to that, along with the sounds of barking dogs, chickens, and sometimes pigs if you're close enough. Speaking of chickens, oh, here's one of our little, he's not our dog, but he comes here to eat our bones. We call him Mun Mun. Hi, Mun Mun. And we call him Mun Mun because our good friend Raymond, every time he's here, he brings this little dog with him. And there she is. There's our pet chicken. And this is Tanya's chicken. Hey there, mother. Hey, mama. There she is. And you can't see it, but she has her eggs under there. I think she has 4 or 5 right now. And we just let her wander around. We originally got her for extra food we were gonna eat, but we decided to free her, and now she is our pet. We'll get our day started here, and I'll take you with us, and we'll head over to go wash the motorbike. I've neglected the cleaning of this motorbike for a while. We've got dirt all over the side. The windshield wiper has bugs on it. A bunch of trash that's kind of piled up where the fuel tank is. A lot of work to do. And I wanted to get this done before I did my oil change.
Ready to go.
But all your weight, there you go, all your weight, go, just stand on it.
Wait.
She's done. We got her all washed up. I like to do a functions test after a washing though, so here we go. I gotta do an oil change. All right, that's it. Let's go get a snack. Oh. That's okay.
Lima.
There we go.
Do you want to drive?
Titania got some cake. I'm gonna steal some of it. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah. That's a big mouth.
Is it thumb up or thumb down, yeah? What's this?
Crinkles.
Crinkles. It's good. Here, Nia. Try it. Let's see how you like Coke. Taste test. Titania likes Coke. So bread is like one of our favorite snacks. It's cheap. We probably got about 6, 7, 8 different varieties of bread for around 60, 70 pesos. And that's like $1. You know, so not too bad. Say hi to Chicon. Hey, Chicon. Ooh, it's hot, but it's good. So I'm on my second cup of coffee. And of course I'm gonna dunk my donut / bread inside of here. That's good. Shout out South Dakota State AAU Wrestling 2011. That is hot. I'm gonna let that cool down. And as I do that, I'll show you what Sheila's chores are right now. Check this out. Prioritizations. That's one of the things that I failed at, you know, prior in my life, just recently. I would say in my last job as well. I was a salesman / project manager helper in my last role. And I dropped the ball on prioritization. I would get so caught up in the details of whatever it was. I just wanted to get everything done. So whether it was really important or not important at all, you know, I didn't know what to spend my time on, or I did, but I wouldn't catch myself until hours later that I realized that I wasted my time on something. You know, for example, I'd be working on a really important project that needed to be done tomorrow, but an email would come in about a question on a specific item, you know, be it a crane, and I would waste probably, 2-3 hours trying to get a question to an answer that, it needed answered, but, it didn't need answered until maybe a month down the road. So that's how bad I got. And something I'm trying to work on is, getting the work done, but prioritizing it properly so I can stop working at the end of the day and I don't have to work up until midnight. Does that make sense? I don't know if I explained that right, but there's a little bit of insight, to my prior work and my weaknesses with that work. There's plenty more, but that's just one of them. Welcome to my office / bedroom. I got you on both cameras here. Camera 1, camera 2, camera 1, camera 2. I'm just trying out something different here. Now, why do I do a monthly budget, and why am I so adamant on doing it every single month? Well, I lose money every single month while I live here in the Philippines. I'm pretty much just living off of savings and then a few investments that I have back in the US, but it's still not enough for me to have a monthly positive cash flow. That being said, in order to kind of project how long I can stay here, I really have to watch what I spend, document every single expense, and then every month kind of evaluate, you know, what am I trending? How much am I spending a month? And then I look out in the future and try to find how much longer I can keep doing this. So let me get to work. We're gonna eat dinner, and then I'll see you in the morning, and I'm gonna get started on that maintenance on my bike. That's Jim. He's our other chicken. But he's a bit of a stinker, so we'll probably end up eating him. Chicken. You hear that? It's the sweet sound of a chainsaw in the morning. Got the supplies, let's go. Oh. Now this isn't perfect as far as, you know, a workshop goes, but it's the best we got where we live. I've got my big list of to-dos. That's all just for the oil change. Forgive my spelling. I never really learned how to do it. First things first, I gotta make sure this thing's on a flat surface. And I think it's flat enough. It might be tilting a little bit to the left. We're gonna make it work. Here's the oil strainer plug. And then right down yonder is our actual oil plug. And we're gonna be doing both of those today. And if you're following along, this isn't really a tutorial. I don't know what this is, it's just part of my vlog. I'm just doing it, but it's an ADV 160 we're working on. There's plenty more detailed videos on how to do this, and I might even do this a little bit incorrectly, but it's my bike, and yeah. I'm gonna let her run for about 5 minutes. Here's my socket set. Flytech. Let's grab some back brakes in case we need them, and my front brakes just in case. Now this first bolt should be a 12 millimeter. Got the metric system out here. Very black, definitely due for an oil change. The recommendation here by a lot of mechanics is to change the oil every 2,000 or 3,000 kilometers, which I think is around like 1,000 to 1,500 miles. I don't do that. I go per the manual. The manual says every 6,000 kilometers, which is 4,000 miles. And another thing, this has see that washer there? I believe that's a crush washer. And the recommendation is to replace the crush washer every time you do your oil change. I am not going to do that today. I don't have another one, and I'm just going to roll with it and just keep an eye on it. But the recommendation would be to change your crush washer as well. Maybe I'll do that next time. We're just going to roll with it. Again, I said I'm not going to do it exactly right, so this isn't really a tutorial. I'm just doing this as a vlog. As I said, we also got the oil strainer here on the side, and per the manual, you don't have to do that every oil change, but we're gonna do it today because I don't know when the last time that was done. This one's gonna be a 17 mil. Let's see if I'm right. Whew, it's a little bit tough. Sweet. Oh, she was on there. Holy shit. I'm gonna get oil on me. But there's our spring, right? So there's pressure on it. And we're gonna pull out the oil strainer. So this is what we want to clean. Get every last drop. I'm gonna tell you one of the benefits of doing your own oil change out here, because it's not like the US. It's really not that expensive to pay someone to do an oil change in the Philippines, and they're also quite talented here. The techs, I mean. So one of the reasons that I do it is, well, A, I like to use full synthetic oil, and a lot of the shops around here don't have full synthetic. They just use regular. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you just got to do your oil more frequently than you would if you had full synthetic. The main reason... Hey, yo! Wait, I'll tell you in a sec. Tanya's back from school. Say hi, Tanya. How was school?
Okay.
It was okay. Sheila walked and picked her up because I'm using the motorbike right now. All right, what was I saying? I can't remember. Anyway, the reason I changed my own oil, it's not because of money or anything like that. I'm a highly paranoid individual, and I'm always thinking about brakes and oil, brakes and oil, brakes and oil. And for my own intimate relationship with my motorbike, that is why I'm doing my own oil, and I'm gonna do my own brakes too, is because I want a nice intimate relationship. And as I drive this bad boy, I want to know for 100% certainty, no doubt in my mind, that it was all done right, or at least what I think is right. But if I'm wrong, at least it's all my fault. And I don't recommend you doing it that way. That is brake cleaner. It is no bueno, no good for the skin. Do as I say, not as I do. But you definitely want to get this bad boy cleaned out. And I actually don't think they recommend using a flammable liquid. I don't know what liquid you're supposed to use, but it says don't use a flammable liquid, and that's also what I'm doing. So I'm not a great example when it comes to doing this. You want that narrow side pointing down. Take your strainer, make sure you got her all nice and clean, and then that goes right in there like that. I'm gonna take a little bit of oil because there's a rubber gasket here, and I always like to keep those lubricated. Just come on. I'm gonna put it on this plastic here that I hit with that brake cleaner. All right, now we'll take this bad boy, just stick her in, and that's spring, so you gotta push at the same time. Make sure you don't cross thread it. So I recommend you use your hand first. Go ahead, tighten that in. Now it was on there pretty tight, so the torque is gonna be high, I think, on this, or relatively. And then I'll just get her snug, just to get it sealed for now. All right, so I got her right there. And then I'm gonna torque these down a little bit later too. Do I really know how to use a torque wrench? Kind of. Am I good at using a torque wrench? No, not at all. Alright, so we got that cleaned, all shiny. And then we're gonna take the old crush washer here. And I gotta remember which side goes flat, but there's a crush washer. We're just gonna wipe that down. Alright, so there's our crush washer, nice and clean. And again, I don't recommend you do this. I recommend you replace this. But again, I'm just doing that for today. So I'm gonna put that back on there just like that. All right, so I had to take a little break. Lunch was ready. I was running late. Tanya got a little bit mad at me. But we got some fish here. Sheila, show this fish. So we got fresh fish. It's caught this morning. It's from the market. And then my favorite, sabaw with fish. Very fresh. It's a very refreshing lunch. It is super hot, and it's a lot harder to do this while I film. But we're gonna get it done. I'm gonna finish the oil change, and then we'll see how this brake job goes. My chow is over. Time to get back to work. Who's my cameraman? Look, say hi. That's my girlfriend Sheila. She's gonna help me finish this oil job. Torque wrench. Same brand, it's a Flytech torque wrench. The oil plug torque is saying 24 Newton meters. So we're gonna go to the 23 and then we'll add one. We're gonna call it close enough right there. You're going your righty tighties.
All right, then we're gonna come here and we're gonna pray that we don't strip this, because if I do, I'm pretty much shit out of luck. There we go. And we got ourselves a torque. Plus or minus 50%. We're gonna move to the strainer cap, and that is 20 Newton meters. But man, I'm surprised the torque is less than the drain plug, because man, that was really hard to get off. So there's what I think 19's at. And then we're gonna add 1 to get to our 20. Tighten this up. I'm gonna use an extension on this one. 17 mil. Oh, there's our click. This is a calibrated device. So when you store it, it's got a spring in here, and you're gonna wanna loosen this to its lowest setting. Don't go too low, right? But just go to its lowest setting. This one, the lowest is 5 Newton meters. And that's how you wanna store it. You wanna take tension off of the internal spring. I don't know how this turned into a how-to, but you know, if you don't like this, go watch something else. But this is what we're doing today. Until next time. All right, now for the best part, the oil. Ain't that fun? All right, so we got fully synthetic, all right? So the numbers you wanna look for on your oil is the MB and then the 10W, 30SL. Look at your manual, it'll tell you what those markings should read on yours. But that's what we're going with today. And you don't have to, but we're gonna go with the full synthetic Honda brand. You can use any brand as long as those numbers are correct on there. But again, I'm just gonna go with this Honda one. Depending on the maintenance you do to your bike, it's gonna call for a different amount of oil. Since we did both the oil drain plug, just draining it, but we also did the strainer, it's calling for 850 millimeters, but there's 1,000 millimeters in the oil container, or 1 liter. So we're gonna take 1,000 minus 850, and it's got a little reader on the back, or an indicator, right? I got it labeled because I'm dumb and I can't remember stuff. But we're gonna stop pouring at 150 millimeters, okay? That's the right way to do it. That's what the manual says. Mini funnel, that's what I'm trying to get it into. So there's the oil hole. Let's crack that. Oh yeah. Nice and fresh. Pop this. Woo. Oh yeah, that's good. That's good stuff. Doesn't spill out or anything. All right, so when you're done, you should have, whoa, about tripped there. When you're done, you'll have about 150 milliliters left. Mine's a little bit less. I overfilled it maybe by 25 millimeters. It is what it is. Put our dipstick back. Go ahead and just hand tighten this. You don't need to crank on it or nothing like that. Just hand tighten. Get it snug. All right, that's good enough right there. I'm gonna get this thing running for about 3 to 5 minutes. What are we gonna do while we wait? Are we just gonna stand around, drink a beer? No, we're gonna inspect. We're gonna monitor. We're checking for oil leaks. We're checking our finger, is it leaking? Did I mess something up? Is something blowing up? You listening as they're grinding on gears? Always stay alert. It's pretty though, ain't it? Okay, let's check the dipstick. Let's pull this out, wipe it, right? There's our fill line right there. All right, and then you're not gonna screw it in, you're just gonna put it in there. Don't screw it, just put it in there just like that. And then you're gonna carefully pull it out. And then there's our oil line. Now it's showing well above that oil line. No, I don't know if that's because I got the bike tilted a little bit or not, but so it's possible it might be overfilled a little bit. I don't know. I mean, we put in what the manufacturer recommended, so I'm not too worried about overfilling. I mean, you still want to be careful about overfilling your motorbike. Of course, you don't want to underfill it, but you also don't want to overfill it because you can have different complications happen for each one. I'm going to say we're good today. Again, not a tutorial. So then you got to reset your oil light. There we go, look at reset oil light. Press left, right, blah, 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 blah. You don't want to read that, I'll just do it. Hold these 2 selector switches here. 1, 2, 3, roughly, turn it on. So we're blinking, and you want to hold the right one, and it should reset here. So hold the right selector stitch. See it? It just reset. And then that's where it shows the 6,000 kilometers there, because they have it, because the manual says to change it every 6,000 kilometers. That's how they have it programmed in here. Every time you reset the light, it's going to reset in order to turn on 6,000 kilometers from now. Right? The more you know. Okay, so you might say, you know, Jaron, you're done. Now, but no, I'd say, well, what do you do with all this oil, right? Like, come on, that's a lot of oil. Do you throw it, you know, do you throw it in the forest? Do you throw it down the drain? Do you flush it down the toilet? Nay, 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 nay. We are going to put this in a container, and we're going to keep it as long as we need to until we find ourselves either at a gas station or one of these motor shops around here, and we're going to ask them if they can dispose of it for us. I'm sure there's someone around here that will do that, but do not throw it in the forest. Do not throw it down the drain. I do not care if you got to go in the middle of the night and drop it off at a Shell gas station or something. This needs to take care of your oil. Whoa, hey, this isn't too bad, huh? That's it. Oil change done. Next, brakes. I've actually never done brakes on a motorbike before.
Hey guys, Chris Fix here. Today I'm going to show you how to change out your brake rotors and brake pads. In this case,
just kidding. Chris Fix does cars, but I do have to do some research on my phone to figure out how to do this. Shout out Moto Beast on YouTube. That's who I'm using to help me do this thing right. He's speaking Tagalog or Bisaya, I don't know which one, so I don't understand what he's saying, but he does a very good visual education. I think this goes here. See, I think. Yeah, it's better to be sure, but we're just gonna wing this one a little bit. All right. All right, first bolt out. I'm gonna take this bad boy. There we go, number 2. Should pop out. All right, and this should just slide out there. All right, let's get to work on this brake assembly right here. It's a little bit of an uneven wear here. Again, so these are the rear brakes. Luckily, I got some extra ones in case we need them. I don't know if you can see that part number, but that's what I'm using. These gloves, huh? Tiny's gonna learn as well. I got the whole thing disassembled here. There's my YouTube video. There's the brakes. Now we're gonna go, or I'm gonna go wash this with my brake cleaner. And this time, I'm gonna use some gloves. We're gonna do these parts too, and then there's one more in there as well. I'm not gonna show you all this, so I'll just let you know when I'm done. So Titania found my gloves. Show them what you did with my gloves, yeah? What'd you do? She filled them with dang water. That's okay. So we got everything cleaned here. Right, all spick and span, everything's clean. Titania's got her gloves. There's one more thing we gotta do. There's that beautiful noise of the chainsaw. Last thing I gotta do here is we're gonna clean this bad boy. We'll give it a good cleaning, huh? What do you think? Not too shabby, huh? The brakes here aren't too bad. They're getting rusty, you know, and they're going down to the wear line, but just so I can have a peace of mind that I have new brakes, we're gonna put the new brakes on here. So these are original over here. Put the retainer pin up here. We're gonna grease this thing up just in these spots right here. That's it. Not a lot. Torque. 22 Newton meters. Done. All right, that concludes the rear brake assembly. I'm not gonna show too much of the front brake. I'm running out of daylight and I gotta get this done today. Got the front brake off. I just gotta disassemble it and do some cleaning. Clean brake parts. Let's go. Whew. Just before sunset. We got her done. There's the brakes. Front brake, just got to do a quick little torque. Alright, rear brake. And here's the front brake. It's going to be really loose since I just replaced it. Got to pump it up. I don't know if anybody knows about this, but you know, my front brake is pretty shaky. I don't know if that's normal or not, you know. Anyway, good enough. We're done with that. Now we just got to do a test drive. Hey! There's Titania's. There's Tantan, Julia. Aldos! Come on. And here's Aldos. Hey! Aldos! And there's Junri there. That's Tantan's father down there. Aldos? How you doing, Aldos? Where are ya? Alright, good job, Nia. Play money. You're rich. Alright, so I'm back on the road. I want to test out the brakes. I've been doing front and rear brake testing. So here, we'll give it a shot.
It's a binti. This is Kuya Jira.
That is both brakes at the same time, front brake and rear brake all work good. I engaged the ABS, not there, but earlier, and yeah, it went well.
Ring around.
You want to ring around?
Yeah.
No, not today.
Please, please.